welcome back to Com 101. So, something happened a few months ago that I had fully intended to talk about at the time, but because this news year has been coming at us so quickly, it got pushed aside for a bigger story at the time. Well, it has come back around, which with this administration is unsurprising, because when people show you who they are, you should believe them. Back in May, the NAD, that's the National Association of the Deaf, filed a federal lawsuit against the Trump administration because not only had the administration stopped providing ASL, American Sign Language, interpreters during White House press briefings, they also stopped providing them at other public events that the president was speaking at once President Trump returned to the office in January. Now, you might say to yourself, but isn't closed captioning like a pretty common thing? Isn't it available pretty much everywhere? Eileen, don't you watch television with closed captioning on? Yes, I do. And yeah, it mostly is, though not so much on broadcast television or within news. We see it a lot in this medium. There's a lot of AI captioning that is incorrect most of the time, because we should be paying for real human captioners with a practiced hand. However, American Sign Language is a language unto itself. It is not distinctly English, and so the NAD's objection stemmed largely from the fact that captioning is insufficient for the several 100,000 people in the US who communicate primarily through ASL. It's also worth mentioning that the NAD had to sue the Trump administration during 2020 as well, that time for not providing ASL interpreters during coronavirus briefings. On President Trump's first day in office of his second administration, he signed an executive order eliminating DEI-A. Everybody seems to forget about the A of it all, because they like to pretend that everything has to do with woke and not accessibility. Okay, so sticking with this theme, last week, Lil Marco, as the president likes to call him, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, banned all State Department correspondence from using the Calibri font and is requiring the very boomer Times New Roman. Now, for those of you who don't know what a serif is, it's this. Times New Roman on screen left, Calibri on screen right. A serif is the little finishing stroke on a letter. It's fancy. It looks nice. They're very pretty. They're old school. I put them in my Z's, and I do that little European thing to my 7s. It's typically used in print mediums, and for a long time it was, the default thing that we had to write in school. But times have changed. Additionally, I'm fairly certain that what Lil Marco meant to say was that he wanted to ban Calibri typeface, not font, because he'd need to be a lot more specific about bold, italics, etc. But as I am not a typesetter, I digress. Anyway, Rubio has mandated that it's Times New Roman or bust for all diplomatic communications. Why, you ask? To roll back DEI-A, of course, because Calibri is a sans serif font, meaning without serifs. It's easier to read for the visually impaired or even those with dyslexia. God forbid we make reading, fundamental. So, back to ASL. Last month, U.S. District Judge Amir Ali ruled in favor of the National Association of the Deaf's lawsuit and said that the White House must provide real-time ASL interpretation for press briefings from the president and press secretary. The White House is, of course, appealing the ruling under the guise that providing this interpretation would severely intrude on the president's prerogative to control the image he presents to the public. The DOJ has not elaborated any further on what that means, but we do know that the only way that President Trump controls anything is with cameras on him, which is why I don't understand why people to continue to put cameras on him. But I will say, in this case, he ain't wrong. In his cocoon, he is in complete control, and whatever he may be guilty of, he is a master media manipulator. And he has been for decades. And that's where the media and the Democrats and the rest of the world's leaders, frankly, constantly underestimate him. His ability to manipulate a message. And of course, his absolute wanton disregard for people. Because why else? What objectively could be the upside for making things harder for the deaf or visually impaired? There's no political upside. There's no money to be saved by changing a typeface in diplomatic emails that can instead use to, I don't know, like illegally blow up boats that we have no jurisdiction over in international waters. There's no money to be saved from changing a typeface. It's pure bullying. It's an administration doing something because it can, and choosing, as always, to not pick on someone their own damn size. Let us not forget, this is the same man who did this.
He appeared to mock a reporter with a disability. Take a look.
Written by a nice reporter. Now the poor guy, you got to see this guy. Oh, I don't know what I said. I don't remember. He's going like, I don't remember. Oh, maybe that's what I said. This is 14 years ago. They didn't do a retraction.
That reporter he is talking about is Serge Kovaleski, who now works for the New York Times. As you can see right there, he suffers from a chronic condition that impairs movement of his arms.
And who as recently as Thanksgiving Day tweeted this. So we lose ASL interpreters. We dump a perfectly good typeface for no other reason than to punch down on a regular basis. Yeah, that's our POTUS. Catch you next time on Com 101.